You've worked hard to build a dream retirement. Now it's time to put that plan into action. This is Retire ATL with Aaron Vincent and Matt Decker. The team at Vincent Financial wants to help you build, protect, and grow income to get you to and through retirement. Now, Retire ATL with Aaron Vincent and Matt Decker.
This is the Retire ATL podcast, all powered by the Vincent Financial Group. You can get more when you visit retireatlradio.com. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for downloading. Now, let's get to the show. My name is Mark Owens. Gentlemen, I want to get to a lot of really good information this weekend from the team at the Vincent Financial Group. And I want to start things off with the headlines, and we see these a lot, and it's almost like a myth, a misconception that we have to debunk a lot here on Retire ATL. And there's another headline that's telling us exactly how much money we need to retire. This comes from Northwestern Mutual, and it shows that adults think they need about $1.4 million to retire comfortably. Aaron Vincent, Matthew Decker, stories like this can make retirement planning feel like a pass-fail type of test and really ignores the fact that retirement looks different for everybody. So how do you help those adults figure out their number and what they should focus on instead of these big national averages?
It's funny because my dad had a very similar viewpoint on retirement, and Aaron and I have talked about this. He had a sticky note on his computer screen. He worked from home, and he had a number on the sticky note. He's like, when I get to that number, that's when I'll know. That's when I'll know that I'm there. And I'm like, Dad, how'd you come up with that number? He's like, I don't really know. I just picked it. It feels right. It just felt like that was the number that it needed to be. And I'm like, there's a better way to do that. He's like, yeah, I know there probably is, but that's what it says on the sticky note now. So I'm not changing it.
These things they make me laugh. Part laugh because it's a joke, and part laugh because, I don't know, maybe I can at least appreciate the fact that someone's trying to simplify it. Like if I try to find the silver lining in why would someone make such a under-prepared, under-realized assessment of what it takes in broad terms to retire? Why would someone just paint with such broad strokes and disappoint hundreds of thousands of people, millions?
Yeah.
Because if you are in the category of X is the number, then I'm good, you are set up for disappointment without some more thorough kind of thought. So I think about why would someone do it? Because if you open up the stocks app on your phone or you read a headline like this or an article, the idea, I got to believe, is that they're trying to simplify it. Mm-hmm. And I can appreciate that. But in trying to simplify something that's very complex and very important too much, I think you run the risk of jumping to conclusions and getting hurt. And so to say that, Americans need $1.4 million to retire, I think could not be a more dangerous assumption to make without a lot. That may be your number. That may be what it's going to take for you and your retirement. But the problem is an income problem and a tax problem. Maybe if you're doing back of the napkin math and you're just going to do a pure, I have this much money. Mm-hmm. I'm going to assume this much return. I'm going to live 30 more years. And so I can withdraw X per year. That's a somewhat simple math equation. However, it gets way more complicated than that real fast as soon as you apply any sort of stressor like market volatility. No one gets a 6.7% average rate of return every single year, every year in a row. That's literally impossible.
And yet that's what every single 401k calculator is based on.
And that's what every single one of these headlines with just a blanket number, here's your goal, has to be based on.
Yeah. It's also what the 4% withdrawal rule is based on.
Been debunked 1,000. We've debunked it 1,000 times on this show, let alone all the other shows out there. And so it's a problem. I laugh at it in a sense of, okay, it's nice to have something that simplifies and creates a conversation starter. If you're using this as a conversation starter, if you've got a fantastic financial advisor and you want to take this headline into them and say, hey, is this true?
Yeah.
Great. Start the conversation off that way. But just be ready for it not to be your number.
And it does feel like a lot of times when you hear these, you need $1.5 million, you need $5 million. A lot of those are coming from these talking heads that are already pretty secure in their future. Your Kevin O'Leary's, your Susie Orman. Yeah, it's easy for them to say that because they don't have to worry about debt and mortgage, and they don't have to worry about kids playing travel ball because they've already got the income where they're living that 1% life, Matt.
Absolutely.
I think these lonely numbers, that's what this is. It's a lonely number. It's one number that has nothing else around it to provide context. They're almost always dangerous. I kind of liken it to going to the doctor in a way. Like, I don't particularly enjoy going to the doctor.
Oh, I get it.
And because, there might be something wrong. Mm-hmm. And so I feel okay. So why even roll those dice, right? Because I feel good.
Right.
Well, I kind of feel similarly about this. It's like if I pull up my stock app or, my Apple News app or whatever you're using, you go to Google and I see that headline. All right, so if I'm way under 1.4 million, let's say that I'm getting close to retirement and I've saved $600,000. I'm going to see 1.4 and I'm going to feel bad. Right. And I'm going to throw my hands up in the air and be like, I knew it. Yep. System's rigged. Mm-hmm. Nothing I can do. Mm-hmm. On the flip side, if I've got $2 million, I pull up that app and I see 1.4 and I'm like, I've done it. I got nothing to worry about.
I want to go buy that Lambo.
I got $600,000 to spend.
Yeah.
What am I going to spend it on?
Right.
Well, both of those situations are let's just not go to the doctor to find out what the truth is, because I'm great with just doing nothing.
Right.
Versus working at something if I'm behind, or, maybe I got $2 million, it says 1.4, but my current spending habits are, I'm spending $250,000 a year. Okay, well, that's a problem.
Right.
I need way more than 1.4 million.
Yeah. Let's take it one layer deeper. We're not even going to get complicated. We're just going to keep it simple. Simple questions. If I have $1.4 million in IRA or 401k, how much of that $1.4 million is mine?
It doesn't matter because I got 1.4. That's what the headline says.
Mm-hmm. But how much of it is mine, though?
It's my money.
It's my money.
It's my IRA.
I saved all of it.
You have 1.4.
I saved all of it.
That's true. You did save all of it.
So what are you trying to insinuate?
It's not all yours, though.
I saved it all.
You saved it all with a handshake deal with the government, and they told you that they'll take theirs out later.
I didn't make that deal.
You did. You didn't know it, though. Now, so that's a fun game.
You click accept those terms. Guess those terms you just accepted.
As compared to, what if I have $1.4 million, but $1 million of it's Roth, only $400,000 is IRA or 401k?
Okay, I'm liking that.
Okay, so those two situations, both $1.4 million. But where that money is and how it's going to be taxed, wildly different. I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars a year different in retirement income for those 30 years just by where the money is. Not changing the balance. Where's the money? Is it tax deferred, taxable, or tax free? That's just one layer. We could go 5 layers deeper to tell you why this is a dangerous game to play.
To your point, Aaron, the $1.4 million all in a 401k or an IRA.
Which is how most of Americans' wealth is.
Yeah.
Mostly IRA, 401k.
SEP, Simple, 403b, TSP, all the government and IRA type accounts, tax deferred accounts. $1.4 million there versus $1 million in Roth and $400 in IRA. It's probably this is just from seeing 1,000 or so plans every single year for the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. It's probably a mid to high 6-figure difference. Mid to high 6-figure difference in taxes paid between those two scenarios.
Yep.
Could easily be $500,000 less in taxes for the Roth, for the $1 million in Roth, 400 in IRA versus 1.4 in IRA. So to your point, if you're the smart one and you've got $1 million in Roth and 400 in IRA, and I'm the guy who's got 1.4 million in my 401k, and we both pull up the Apple News feed and we see you need $1.4 million, we're both feeling great. Mm-hmm. And yet our two situations couldn't be more different.
Yeah. And then that gets even more difficult to realize whenever you say, that's just for your generation. Let's play it out past your life. You die, and your $1.4 million 401k when you die at 85 is worth $500,000. Now your kids inherit, or your spouse or whoever inherits a $500,000 potential tax time bomb because they've now got a limited number of years to spend that $500,000 down versus if they inherited a Roth or something else. I don't want to get too far into that, but the point is a lonely number. The number for Americans is X. For anyone listening to this, pull your car over wherever you are and write this down. Do not trust any one-liner on any app or any headline ever.
And then after you write that down, write this down, 770-741-0120 or retireatlradio.com to start conversations just like this.
And just call us and say, hey, what's my number? I want to find out what my number is. Kicks off the conversation that simply.
What's more dangerous as we talk about these headlines that say, don't even sniff retirement until you've got at least $5 million. You can't retire successfully unless you have $2.5 million in assets. What's more dangerous, that way of thinking, or as Matt said a little bit earlier, the adult who says, well, I'm not even going to start thinking about retirement until the age of 65. I'm not going to retire the age of 67 birthday. I've got that circled. That's when I'm retiring.
You're articulating something that we talk about all the time, which is that there's 2 ditches on the side of the road. Mm-hmm. You know, if retirement is a journey and you're on a road, you're driving there, you want to stay in the middle of the road. You don't want to end up in either one of the ditches. That would be fear or greed. it doesn't really matter which way you go. Like it doesn't matter which ditch you fall in. That's not actually the question. The question is, how do you stay on the road? And so I would say any line of thinking that encourages inaction, either because I throw my hands up in the air because I'm not going to get there, so let me just not even try, or I've already done it, so let me rest on my laurels and not pay attention. Anything that just encourages inaction, status quo, is a dangerous mindset.
I would agree with that completely. But if I had to choose, Mark, one of the two, I would say whichever one allows you more time to correct it.
Okay.
So a lot of things can be solved with time. Someone who comes in to see us or calls us in to start the conversation, and they may feel like they're way behind, but they still have a few years or more until they retire, versus the person who feels like they've done it all and they're confident and they're retiring tomorrow. I would feel like there's a higher success rate for the one who still has some time, because with time and with hunger to build a life that you want in retirement, you can do a lot with a few years. You can make some light adjustments to things, and that correction over a 5-year period of time makes a huge difference.
I like Aaron's answer better, honestly, if I'm just being honest. And that's hard for me to say.
I like them both.
I like Aaron's answer a little bit better, but I'm curious how much time makes a difference, Aaron?
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say if you've got at least 3 years, ideally 5 years, a lot can happen.
Yeah.
A lot can happen. Less than that, it's like, it's the eighth wonder of the world, right? According to Einstein, compounding interest. And so compounding an adjustment to a little bit off course, it's just compounding by definition takes time. So the longer the better, but minimum 3 to 5 years, I think you can do a lot of good.
Yeah.
Matt, I'm proud of you.
You're proud of me?
I'm proud of you.
For what?
For admitting that Aaron had a good point.
Admitting defeat there?
Yeah. It wasn't defeat.
For what it's worth, I had to come up with that on the fly because I like Matt's answer better.
You know what? Y'all two should work together.
That's so kind of
pretty
you
good
to say
job.
that.
770-741-0120. And y'all were talking about Roth IRAs a couple of seconds ago. Ed Slott, we're a big fan of Ed Slott here. IRA expert.
Tax nerd.
Tax nerd. A proud tax nerd, too.
Absolutely.
Love a tax nerd.
He says recent tax law changes may have created one of the best windows in years to make conversions work in your favor. The new rules around inherited IRAs, RMDs, and low tax rates are reshaping Roth conversion conversations. So let me ask you this. Who should be looking the hardest at a Roth conversion right now? And part two, could delaying that make your tax bill worse later?
It's good stuff. I mean, we'll get to the who. I think the most important thing, so if I'm a listener and I'm trying to gather or kind of collect some information and try to say, is this applicable to me? I think one of the characteristics is anyone who has a good ratio or a majority of their savings in any sort of tax-deferred vehicle, 401k, IRA, 403b, SEP, simple IRA, all those things, anything that you have not paid taxes on it yet, anyone who has somewhat of a high ratio, most of your money in that category.
Which is most people.
Which is almost everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, and so anyone in that category, you've got to listen up because according to Ed Slott and everyone else who knows the tax code and how this plays out over time, knows that we're talking about compounding interest earlier. Compounding interest in the form of tax deferral just means that you're compounding how much the government's going to take later. And again, whether you've got $500,000 and half of it is in an IRA, or you've got $5 million and half of it's in an IRA or 401k, ratio-wise, it's the same. So it's not a matter of, well, I've got enough wealth doesn't matter, because it's going to be a trickle effect to your future generations and everything else. But I think anyone who is either got a bulk of their wealth in that category or their current contributions are building that category faster than the other categories, more maybe tax advantageous ones, you got to have some analysis done. Mm-hmm. You're going to wake up one day without enough time to course correct, and it's going to be a significant reality that you may not be aware of yet.
I'm going to say some stuff that people aren't going to believe.
Uh-oh.
Okay. And I just encourage you to do your own research because these are things that are important things that are absolutely true, and you just need to know that they're true because it's not going to be what you're used to. We've had decades-long periods of time in our history where the top marginal tax rate was at 70% or higher. Let me just say that again. We've had, I want to say it's like 40 years in a row or more, where the top marginal tax rate was 70% or more. Now, if you were able to defer taxes, so let's say that you had a 401k, like the idea of these tax-deferred retirement plans came about in the mid-70s, okay, when tax rates were way up there. way up there. If you were deferring in that environment and now you're withdrawing,
Oh, yeah.
you hit a grand slam.
Yep.
Grand slam. It worked beautifully because you deferred at super high rates and now you're withdrawing at much lower rate, literally half the rate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but we are in the total opposite time frame. Like that's not the environment that we live in today. If you look at our history's top marginal rates from now going all the way back to like the 20s, the 30s, we're basically in the lowest tax rate environment that has ever existed in terms of top marginal rates. You'll want to look this up because you're not going to believe me because you all pay taxes and you know how much it hurts.
Everyone feels like taxes are so high.
Everyone
right now.
feels like Matt's, you're a liar, Matt. What? Try me. Like, go do your own research. Go look. You'll see. It's crazy. And I know because I pay taxes and it hurts. And I think this can't be true. And yet it is true.
Yep.
And so if you're still deferring, if you're a high income earner and you're still deferring your savings into tax deferred vehicles, you're doing it in one of the lowest tax rate environments in our nation's history at a time when we've accumulated more debt than we've ever had in our nation's history by orders of magnitude.
Mm-hmm.
Couple that with the fact that if you just, again, you're just going to want to look at this, just hear me, but don't trust me. Trust but verify. Go look at it for yourself. Total up our 4 largest expenses that our government spends money on. Our 4 largest expenses: Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, interest on our debt, and defense and war spending. Those are the 4 largest line items that are on our budget. Those 4 line items right now, those 4 line items, if you add them all up, equal more than we collect in tax revenue. Just those 4. Just those 4 line items equal more expenditures than we collect in total tax revenue as a nation. And so if you're a high income earner and you are still deferring taxes in one of the lowest tax rate environments in our nation's history for high earners at a time where we are literally catapulting ourselves off of the debt cliff, I would just say you might want to rethink that strategy. And Roth conversions are a big part of that.
Yeah. I stole this quote from somebody else. It's not mine, but I love it. Whether it's finances or taxes or anything else in life, using yesterday's logic or yesterday's headlines or yesterday's whatever to address today's or tomorrow's problems is a dangerous game to play. To Matt's point, it was the right thing to do 50 years ago. And doing the same thing that was suggested and set up 50 years ago today, assuming it's still right today without checking it, is dangerous. You're going to have a lot of regrets potentially. Yeah. But that's all the training, all of the news. If you've got an HR department or if you got a 401k advisor that you've got access to through your 401k provider, they're not going to tell you these things.
Nope.
You're not going to hear this because it's just yesterday's logic is easier to just rinse and repeat today than it is to do a whole new level of training and awareness and education. And so you're just not going to find these facts most places.
Now, let me say what you're all thinking. You're all thinking, Matt, yeah, but raising the tax rates is like that's political suicide. Like no one's actually going to do that. They wouldn't get reelected. It's kind of where they are. They've stayed where they are long enough. They're going to stay there. Well, Aaron, if you don't mind, I'm just going to double your tax rate overnight without changing the brackets. I'm the government. I'm way smarter than you think I am, right? I am. I'm a politician. I'm way smarter than you give me credit for. The stupid thing is just a disguise. I actually know what I'm doing. I'm going to double your taxes overnight, and I'm not going to touch the brackets.
You can't do that.
I can do it. So let's say, Aaron, that you're 50 years old, and you're in your prime earning years, and you're making, just for my own benefit, since I am just the uneducated politician who doesn't know anything, just let's make the math simple for me. You make $100,000 a year. Okay. I'm going to double your taxes overnight. Your father passes away. He's got $1 million IRA.
Sweet.
And you get it. You get it.
Congrats.
Yeah.
It used to be that you could stretch those payments out over your lifetime. That was called a stretch IRA. Most of you have probably heard that term before. You used to be able to take that $1 million out over your lifetime, which would be like 35 years because you're, 50 years old. And so it would minimize the taxable implications of that IRA. Those rules changed. And this is part of what Ed Slott is talking about. Those rules changed with the Secure Act. And what it now says is you don't have over your lifetime, Aaron, to spend down that IRA of $1 million. You have 10 years. You got to spend that $1 million IRA from your dad inside 10 years, which means if you don't earn any money on it at all, you have to take out $100,000 a year. Now, you're in your peak earning years and you're making $100,000 a year. You going to stop working?
No.
Why not?
I can't.
You can't. Which means what? For the next 10 years, you don't have $100,000 of income. For the next 10 years, you have $200,000 of income. And I have doubled your taxes overnight. I've actually more than doubled your taxes overnight because that first $100,000 of income starts at the 0% tax bracket and works its way up. By the time you start recognizing the second $100,000, you're already in the 12% bracket. And I've more than doubled your taxes overnight without touching the tax brackets at all.
I don't feel more secure.
You don't feel more secure?
I don't.
You should.
You said it was a secure act.
It's more secure for me.
I don't feel. Oh.
I more securely get my hands on that money that we made that handshake deal about.
You're smarter than I thought you were.
Exactly. So these are all reasons that you absolutely should consider things like Roth conversions. Even if it was a net neutral situation for you, it's a huge benefit for the beneficiaries on those accounts because if they inherit a Roth, they can keep it tax-free for 10 years. If they inherit an IRA, they got to spend it in 10 years, recognize all those taxes. And a lot of people who inherit IRAs are going to see tax bills that it's going to blow their minds. And it doesn't have to be that way. I would encourage you, reach out to us. Yep. These are conversations we have every single week, 770-741-0120.
And real quick, doesn't matter. There's not an age that you need to be worried about a Roth conversion. You can do it at any age. Have this discussion.
But you should get them done before 73.
Got
if
it.
you can, you should get them done before 73. Not have to, but you should try to.
Insurance products are offered through the Insurance Business Advanced Planning Group. Vincent Financial Group is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Advanced Planning Group are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Advanced Planning Group and IPW are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be constructed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Vincent Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained by sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Vincent Financial Group. This podcast is a paid placement.